The devil isn't afraid of a busy Christian. Joel was the kind of Christian everyone admired. Worship leader, youth mentor, prayer warrior. If the church doors were open, Joel was there early. If something needed doing, Joel was the one doing it. He had no time to rest, because rest was for the weak, he joked. He wore his busyness like a badge of honor. But one night, while preparing slides for Sunday worship at 1:47 a.m., Joel did something he hadn't done in years. He stopped. He looked around his dark apartment. Bibles open, notebooks filled with sermon ideas, worship set lists pinned to his wall. He was surrounded by the work of God, but somehow felt far from God. It wasn't one big fall. It was a slow fade. He hadn't prayed just to talk to God in weeks only, to ask for strength to do more. He hadn't worshipped outside of a stage in months. He couldn't remember the last time he just sat quietly in God's presence with no agenda. But he was too busy to notice he was empty. Then, on a random Tuesday, it all came crashing down. While speaking at a youth retreat, he completely blanked out. Not a mental block, a heart block. In the middle of praying for a teen, he stopped. His voice shook. He looked at the crowd and said, "I think I need a moment." He walked off stage into the woods behind the camp and fell to his knees. "God, where are you? I'm doing all this for you. Why do I feel so dry? Why am I angry, anxious, and alone?" In the silence of the woods, he finally heard something. Not audibly, but deeply. "Joel, you've been working for me, but not walking with me." He wept, not because he felt judged, but because he finally felt seen. The devil isn't afraid of a busy Christian. In that moment, it all clicked. Joel realized something terrifying. He had been moving fast, doing God's work, but he hadn't been in God's will for a long time. He had confused activity with intimacy, service with surrender, performance with presence. And he heard it again. The devil isn't afraid of a busy Christian. He's afraid of a deeply connected one. Satan doesn't mind if you're singing, preaching, posting Christian quotes, as long as you're doing it without power, without prayer, without intimacy, without rest in Christ. The Reset Joel took a break. He stepped down from every role worship, speaking, leadership. He didn't leave church. He just returned to the feet of Jesus. He began each morning not with to-do lists or devotional content for others, but with quiet. Sometimes he said nothing. Sometimes he just breathed and listened. And in that space, he remembered why he fell in love with God in the first place. The noise faded, the pressure melted, the fire returned. 6 months later, Joel was invited to speak again. This time, he wasn't flashy. He didn't bring notes. He simply stood on stage and shared, "I used to think God needed me to do more, but what he really wanted was me." Don't trade presence for performance. Don't assume busyness means fruitfulness. The devil isn't afraid of your calendar, but he trembles when he sees you at Jesus' feet. That night, dozens came, forward leaders, youth, tired Christians, all craving the one thing Joel rediscovered: real, rested, relational faith. Are you busy for God but distant from Him? Have you filled your schedule but emptied your soul? Are you running on fumes, proud of your hustle but missing your heart? Here's your invitation. Stop, rest, sit at His feet. You don't need to impress God. You don't need to perform. You just need to be His, because the devil isn't afraid of your busyness, but he is terrified of a Christian who's still, surrendered, and filled with real power from above.